morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. Just surrender and move with the force. Just surrender and move with the force. This week had two important days. On 17th of January 1955, Naqshbandi Sheikh Sufi Brij Mohan Lal entered into Samadhi, and on 19th of January 1990, Osho entered into Samadhi. These are the two events. Just as we celebrate the birthday, anniversary and other days, the day when the masters or the enlightened ones entered into Samadhi is an important day. On that day, the life force or the energy merges with the existence, and tremendous energy is released if one is available to that moment when somebody is leaving this finite realm to enter into infinite realm of infinite possibilities. One can be enlightened the same very moment. But instead of that, we lament, we feel sad that this person is leaving. Masters have always said that up to now, when I was in the body, there was restrictions and limitations of communion. The moment the life force is released, one becomes infinite. It is like you are sitting in the room, you have air conditioner or central heating system is on, you are feeling comfortable. You do not have to worry about. This is what life is. The moment you come out of the narrow shell of your room, you come under the sun, under the sky, you are surrounded by the breeze from all around, the sunlight, its warmth. So this is what happens when the energy that was encased within the finite realm of the body is released. And also when a master is speaking, he may be speaking to one person, I may be speaking to you, but the message is for the entire humanity, for all those who are in the process of transformation or who want to bring a change in their lives. It is for them. You are the medium through which the Master speaks, but his message is for the entire humanity. In one of the messages, Naqshbandi Sheikh Ramchandra Lalaji, he says that his Sheikh Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan, Hazrat Qibla, told him that you have a student within you a child within you. Never let the innocence of the child vanish. Never let the capacity and willingness to learn ever die in you. Always remain a student, a learner. And who you can learn from? Everything sentient or insentient you can learn. You can learn more from the younger generation than the people who are senior to you. They have their experience. So take the experience from them. From younger generation you learn the technology. Most of us were born in pre-Google era. Now we have transcended into post-Google era. You can learn on your own. You can learn from the younger generation. When you are in the public field, you are working for the transformation of human consciousness. Many stones will be hurled at you in the form of talks, in the form of comments. These are like stones. Use each stone to pave your way. Use each stone that is hurled at you to pave your way. And when the way is paved, still the stones are hurled at you. Use them as stepping stones, not obstructions to block your way. This message was given to Lalaji Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu by Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan, but it is each one of us beyond time and space. It would have been in somewhere in 1800, because 1807 Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan entered into Samadhi. 1931 Ramchandra Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu entered into Samadhi. So the message would have been early 1800. Beyond time and space, it stands even today, and it is indirectly for each one of us. Never let the student in you die. Work as much as you can. The hard work, sincerity is the essence of progress in life. If you surrender, then the life force begins to take its own shape. Things begin to take their own shape. Between surrender and life force comes a wonderful harmony. And in case of the sutras or the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra that I was speaking on, when both partners have surrendered to the life force, many things will happen on their own. The postures will happen on their own. It's not that they are taking, but they will be just relaxed. What is natural will happen. That depends on the life force, not your cerebral decision beforehand. Normally, if you are not surrendered, then your cerebral decisions beforehand decides things. You need not decide anything beforehand. This decision becomes a problem. Even to make love, you decide. Even to make love, you go and force and consult the experts, their advice. There are many books on how to make love. This shows what type of human mind have produced them. You even consult books on how to make love. Then it becomes cerebral. You think everything. There is a vast difference between thinking and doing, and between doing and letting it happen. Really, you create a rehearsal in the mind and then you enact it. Your action becomes a copy. It is never real then. You are enacting a rehearsal. The story is written, the script is written, and you have to enact according to the script, not a natural, spontaneous acting. It will not be authentic. Just surrender and move with the force. Surrender, it becomes a fear, and to move with the force, doubt comes to the mind, and with doubt comes fear. Why be afraid? If you cannot be without fear, unafraid with your lover, with your beloved, then where else can you be unafraid? If you are afraid in front of the Master, where else can you be? And once you have the feeling that the life force helps by itself and takes the right path when it is needed, it will give you basic insight into your own whole life. Then you do not have to depend on the stars and planets. It is like you are walking on the road and you are looking up in the sky. You will stumble. You are living on the earth and you are interested in knowing what the astrological chart says, the planetary movement, how the moon, the Venus, the Mars, all these graha according to the Hindu system of astrology affect you. Once you surrender, then you leave your whole life to the divine, to the unknown existence. Then you do not think and you do not plan, you do not force the future according to your own cerebral conditionings. You just allow yourself to move into the future without any fear, knowing that nothing happens wrong if you surrender to the life force. If you surrender to the flow of the river, river will never drown. It drowns only the person who is cerebral, who is afraid that I do not know swimming. If you do not know the swimming, just float fearlessly. Close your eyes. The river will never drown you. The river never drowns a dead body, but it drowns a living man who is afraid. And if you do not know the swimming, you are afraid to enter the river. Just allow yourself to move into the future according to the existence, or in your words, according to God, according to the total. Then the question was that how to make the sex act a meditation. Just by surrendering, it happens. Surrender to the life force. Just surrender and let the life force take its own course. Do not think about it. Let it happen. Be relaxed. Do not move ahead. This is one of the basic problems with the mind. It always moves ahead. It sees a particular event, a particular situation, and starts weaving a story around it. You are driving along the road. All of a sudden you see an accident in which someone has died. Now you start weaving the story around it. You think that you are thinking the story is being made that you are the person who died, and you have young children who are dependent on you, the wife, the loan for the car, the loan for the house, and all these things have to be paid. You start weaving a story around it, and the ultimate result is your worries. And then there need to be a person who jolts you, shakes you, that you are just weaving a story around it, a script around it, and in that script you may suffer. You are creating the suffering for you. Or on the contrary, you see a wedding procession and you are hankering to enter into the matrimony. You start weaving these stories around it. Just be in the act. What is future? It is unknown as yet. It is to come. But you start weaving these stories around it. And that brings worries and many situations. And you are not going to bring it with your worries. If you worry, you cannot let the future come into it. It is already coming, and it has already come really. So you forget about it. Just be here now. And if sex can be very important insight into being here and now. For that matter, anything that you are engaged in at the moment can help you in being here and now. That is, I think, is the only act now left into which you can be here now. You cannot be here and now when you are in the office. You cannot be here and now while you are studying in the college. You cannot be here now. Anything in this modern world, only you can be here now in love. I recall when the seekers will insist on initiation or bayat, the master will say, first get married. What is the significance of getting married and connection between bayat, initiation, and marriage? With marriage, the relationship begins. You learn, if you surrender, you learn the art of being here and now. And being here and now is the essence of meditation. Although it is, but even then you are not. You go on thinking about the results. How many modern books have created many new problems? You read a book on how to make love, and then you are afraid about whether you are doing it rightly or wrongly. You read a book on the how to change the posture, or which posture to be taken, or what type of posture is to be used, and then you are afraid about whether you are taking the right posture or not. I'll give you an example. A couple weeks ago I saw a video of certain yoga exercises which are good for advanced stage and for prostrate health. So watch the video couple times. This is how it happens. And when a master goes through this, it is for the process of learning, so that how to communicate the matter. Try to remember the exercises, and then when you are doing, you are worried about whether it is being done rightly or wrong. So I watched the video and started doing on my own. The main emphasis was there should be a pressure on your pelvic area. Pelvic area is the one that needs to be relaxed. So when you tighten up and release it, it relaxes. And when you associate it with breathing, it becomes easier. So some of these I was already doing naturally, and then I introduced. So first day I wonder if I remember all these exercises correctly, if I am doing it. That is not necessary. You understand the basics, that the pelvic area needs to be relaxed. That is why it is said that you inhale and exhale. When this process completes, the relaxation happens on its own. You read a book on how a posture is to be taken. The same thing was happening, how the particular posture of yoga posture is to be taken to work on the pelvic area, or what type of posture is to be used. Then you are afraid about whether you are taking the right posture or not. Psychologists have created more worries in the human mind. Now they say husbands must remember whether his wife is achieving orgasm or not. So he is worried about it. This is what psychologists have created a problem. And this worry is not going to help you in any way. Instead, it is going to become an hindrance along the way. The wife is worried whether she is helping her husband to relax totally or not. She must show that she is feeling really blissful. Then everything becomes a fake. Both are worried about the result. The husband is worried about the orgasm of the wife, and wife is worried about if the husband is relaxed or not. And because of this worry, the result never happens. Forget everything, flow in the moment, and allow your bodies to take their natural course and expression. Your bodies know well. Aurobindo talks about the physical mind. I'll give you an example of it. You are driving the car And in order to know, so you know the direction from your workplace to your home, and you know your direction from home to the workplace. And because this is a routine, every day you go to work and come back, and then the certain places, the grocery, supermarket where you go, so you know. And naturally, even without any effort, your steering moves in the right direction. This is the physical mind. The body has its own mind. You start eating. If you have to do certain things in the right way, you look, eyes are important. But for eating food, when you have taken the morsel in your hand or the spoon, you don't need the eyes. The hands will naturally take the food to the mouth. They will not take anywhere else. The hands will not take the morsel to your ears or to your eyes or to your nostril or your cheeks or anywhere. They will take it. Even if you close your eyes and start eating, you will naturally find the morsel that is held in the hand goes naturally to the mouth. This is the functioning of the physical mind. In the same way, if you surrender, this you have surrendered. Natural surrender. You are not worried about it. You do not read the books how to eat food. How the morsel that is held in the hand or in the spoon that you are holding in the hand takes the food to the mouth. You don't read any books on it. You are surrendered. You surrender to the natural force, surrender to the mechanism, the biomechanism, the body mechanism, and allow things to happen. The hands naturally take the morsel to the mouth, and the process begins. This is the way physical mind. Then there is, he talks about the 5 types of mind, the physical mind, the mental mind, and so on and so forth. So we are talking about the physical mind which works on its own naturally, and it happens only when you have surrendered to the life force and allow it to take its natural course. Just leave the body and the body will move on its own. Just as you have left the hands on its own, you did not do any action behind that direct, whether this you are not afraid whether the hands will take the morsel to the mouth or what will happen. So you do not direct your hands with the morsel to the mouth or anything. You just allow it to happen. In the same way, you allow your body to move. You do not read any books. You do not consult a psychologist how to take the morsel from the hand to the mouth. But when it comes to love making, you consult the books. They have everything. The body has a built-in program. You are not asked at all. Just leave it to the body, and body will move naturally in its own, with its own mind, with its own intelligence, with its own understanding. This leaving is to the nature together. Both together, let it go, and this will create the situation of meditativeness naturally. This leaving to the nature together, the husband and wife, both together, let go, will create the possibility, create the situation for meditation to happen naturally. And if you can feel it in sex, then you know one thing, that whatever condition, whatever act you are doing, whenever you surrender, you feel the same. So this is why the master said you have to get married first. So you learn the art of relaxing and allowing the things to happen naturally and spontaneously with this meditation happens. When the process of the meditation begins, then the initiation has taken place. Initiation means you are initiated into the act of being relaxed, being in the state of meditativeness. It does not mean anything else. Then you can surrender, only then you can surrender to the master. First surrender comes the surrender of the body, and with that comes the surrender of the mind to your beloved. Surrender becomes easier than to the master. Between the disciple and the master, it is like a love relationship. You cannot surrender to a master. You can surrender to a master, and then while you are putting your head at his feet, your head is becoming empty. That is why Hindus bow down and put their head at the feet. And according to the Islamic tradition, we do musafir, holding the hands, and that time the seeker bows down, bends his head. Although he does not keep, according to the Muslim tradition, does not keep the head on the feet of the master, but bowing down means the same thing. You will be in meditation. Then there is no need of a master. If you have understood this, then you can go and surrender to the sky, to the winds, to the trees. That is why Hindus worship. It is not a foolishness, as it is considered by other religions, surrendering to the trees, surrendering to this and that, and so you can choose anything. If you surrender to your beloved, is it not the idol worshipping? And according to the Islam, it is said only you can surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the essence is that you must surrender to your beloved in order to achieve the blissfulness of the male-female relation. And if that has happened, there is no need for the master. You have learned the art. You go to the master only to learn the art of surrendering to the whole and allowing the natural force to take place. You know how to surrender, that is all. Then you can go and surrender to a tree. But it looks foolish and it is considered as idol worshipping. You go and surrender to an idol, it is considered as idol worshipping. There is an example in the life of Meera. Meera, the devotee of Krishna. She lived in the north-western state of India. I do not recall the year when she was 5 years of age. One day a sadhu, a saint came to her home, and he has a small idol of Krishna in his bag. It was evening time. He took it out, he prayed and put back the idol in his bag. Meera saw it, and when she saw the statue, the idol, she remembered something. She remembered her communion with Krishna. She asked the saint to give her the idol, but the saint also loved that idol and he did not give. He went back. Meera stopped eating food. She continued to cry for the same idol. The mother tried to console her, as normally happens with each one of us. Whenever we were small, we will fight among our brothers, and the brother has taken something and we go and complain to the grandmother. We said, don't worry, I will get you the next one made of gold. All right, that's good. And you are satisfied. So the mother tried to tell her that I will get you a new and even more beautiful idol for you. She said, no, I want only that one. She stopped eating. The man, the sage sent, went into another village. He slept in the night and he dreamed that Krishna is telling him that this idol, you are simply the custodian of it. It does not belong to you. It belongs to the girl. Meera, go and give it back to her. The man got startled. He got up and he went back at the same time, and Meera was waiting, and he handed over the statue, the idol, to her, and that she kept with her, waking, doing anything. Krishna, that idol was with her. It was symbolic of her communion with Krishna. The photograph of your wife or your father is not your wife or your father. It is simply a symbol of remembrance of his qualities, your love for him or her. It reminds you of something. But the ignorant one consider this idol worship. Every single individual, whether he is Muslim or Christian, has some kind of idol, but doesn't call the idol the way Hindus call it. They have a Krishna Murti, but every Christian has a cross hanging around his neck. What is this? Is it not an idol? And anytime something happens, you touch your heart here. What does it mean? The Hindus bow down the statue. The Christians will hold, if they have to do anything, they will hold the cross in their hand and bring it to their forehead. Is it not idol worshipping? Is it not idol worshipping when you have to offer your prayers turning your face in a particular direction? But let us not forget remember these, go beyond these. Only then you can transform and transcend. Once you have learned the art of surrender, there is no need of initiation. You do not need a master. Then you can go and surrender to a tree. You know, surrender to the existence. And surrender means, with surrender comes the natural process on its own. Then you go and surrender to a tree, to a river, anything, but it looks foolish because we do not know the meaning, the essence of surrender. You see a person, a villager, a primitive man going to the river, surrendering himself to the river, doing his prayers at the bank of the river. He calls the river as mother, the divine. He is not calling the river mother, but he is remembering the mother divine, the essence, the existential energy, or surrendering himself to the rising sun, calling the rising sun as the great God or sun god, or going to a tree and putting his head at the root of the tree. These are all the process of learning surrendering, but you have to go beyond this. Once you have learned the art of surrendering, you do not need to repeat that again. But it looks foolish. It looks superstitious. And that is what the ignorant ones call it. You say, what nonsense is he doing? What will the tree do? Tree has become a symbol for him to learn the art of surrender. The wife or the husband has become the symbol to learn the art of surrendering. What will river do? They are not goddesses. What is sun? Sun is not God. Anything becomes a god. It becomes godlike once you have surrendered. Once you surrender, you have a respect for everything. So your surrender creates divinity. There is nothing divine. There is only a surrendering mind which creates divinity. Surrender to a wife, she becomes divine. Surrender to a husband, he becomes divine. The divinity is revealed through surrender. Surrender to a stone, then the stone is no more. That stone becomes a statue, a person, it becomes a life for you. Just know how to surrender. And when I say how to surrender, I do not mean to know a technique. I mean you have a natural possibility of surrendering in love. Surrender in love and feel it is there. Then let it spread over your entire life. The process of transformation begins. Only this much for this morning. Tomorrow we will begin with another question. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.